Right, on today's video, we're going to be talking about Terrifier 3. Now, I just want to start by saying, around 10 days before Terrifier 3 came out, they showed Terrifier 1 and 2 as a double bill. And I was going to rewatch them, obviously, for the third one coming out, because I haven't really seen number 2 since my first watch. I've never rewatched that. I've seen Terrifier 1 a few times, but I only watched Terrifier 2 once because of the runtime. Because for me, that runtime is outrageous. And I think if you take the gore out of Terrifier 2, it's a mess, man. It's edited shockingly. The story is all over the gaff. So yeah, Terrifier 2 wasn't the best. Art the Clown was fantastic in Terrifier 2, don't get me wrong, but as a film, yeah, man, it kind of wraps itself up a bit in trying to tie this story together at the end. So I wasn't a massive fan of number 2, but I do like number 1 for just a low budget slasher, and I kind of thought that's what Art the Clown was meant to be, just a slasher film. And I don't think you can class number 2 as a slasher film because obviously all the lore that goes into it and all the story development that Damien Leone tried to create because of the criticism of Terrifier 1 having no story. I genuinely just think he fucking tied himself in knots trying to prove that he can write a film. And I don't think he proved that much because I think it's quite a mess, really. So yeah, watching them back, I still felt the runtime of Terrifier 2. It was a little bit better than I remembered, but still, for me, the runtime is just it's too much, man. But nonetheless, it was fucking outstanding to see them in that setting because when I went to the double bill, there was fucking Art the Clown t-shirts everywhere. It was like horror fans, like hardcore horror fans were there to see that, obviously. Whereas Terrifier 3 has made mainstream news. I actually seen it on Friday for the first time. And I'm not saying that they weren't horror fans. I'm not saying I'm more of a fucking horror fan than they are. That's not what I'm getting at. But the audience just felt like there was first dates and stuff. It was a typical cinema experience, like a Friday night horror film, and they're not necessarily the people that you'd want to watch Terrifier 3 with because of how gnarly it gets and how I think it's quite bleak as well, to be honest. I genuinely do. So I don't think that it was not necessarily the best setting. So I held off on making the video and I actually went to see it again today. And I've got to say, a second viewing, I got so much more out of it. And I think I was just kind of aware of how gnarly it was and how shocked the audience were around me. And I think that kind of played into how I was perceiving Terrifier 3, because when I look at Terrifier 3, like from my Friday viewing, I thought it crossed the line. I thought Art the Clown wasn't having fun. I thought it was more mean-spirited and sinister. But I kind of wanted to test the theory of seeing it again to make sure. That was my opinion. And I genuinely do think the setting that I watched it reflected that in my thoughts, because I think David Howard Thornton was having just as much fun. I've picked up on so many more little comedic bits that I didn't think were there. I presumed it was just mean-spirited and heavy, and he kind of lost the Terrifier appeal, personally. That was my Friday viewing. But yeah, today completely changed that. He's having the time of his life playing Art the Clown. And it was so much fun, man. And the kills, genuinely, obviously I know what's coming, so that's going to take some of the shock factor out of it. I appreciate that. But they played funnier this time. And I think it was because it was less packed. People were having more fun with it. People were laughing. And I genuinely think the audience played into me relaxing a bit, which is bullshit. But either way, that's the way it went for me on Friday. So yeah, today was well more fun. Genuinely well more fun. And one of my favourite things, which I did pick up on, but I didn't know it was a decision made on purpose, but the film opens up, they start outside the house, and obviously it's a Christmas film, and there's all Christmas lights, and I instantly got original Black Christmas vibes. And that's, not only is that my favourite Christmas horror film, it's one of my favourite films. I fucking adore Black Christmas. And it was just the stuff they'd done to make it look grainy, and like, I presumed it was shot on actual film, but it actually wasn't. It was all done in post, because I actually looked into that, and the cinematographer has done an interview, and he said that was the vibe that they wanted to go for, the original Black Christmas, which is not surprising because obviously it's a Christmas horror film, and it's the greatest Christmas horror film, or the most well-known Christmas horror film. So it's not a shock that that's what look they were going for, but they nailed it, because instantly, as soon as the film opens up, it just made me happy, because it just looked like Black Christmas. And nothing happens in the house looked like Black Christmas. It was just the actual look of the cinematography, and it just made me so happy that I was just like, oh, that's fucking outstanding that you're getting to see a film like this, giving nods to film like Black Christmas and that, getting a wide release, getting, well, absolutely smashing its wide release as well, by the way. It's fucking killing it. And it's so good to see a low budget film, because I also looked up the budget, because the first one was 25 grand, the second one was 250, which is a big jump, but this one was still only 2 million. And the way that film looks, the way that film is shot, there is well more than 2 million on that screen. They have fucking squeezed every penny out of that budget, and it's incredible. So yeah, again, that's a massive plus for Terrifier, because it's just boss to see a film of this caliber getting a release, getting some kind of mainstream attraction, whether it's disgusting or whatever it is, it's getting recognised, and it's fucking cool, man, that a character like Art the Clown is getting that. It's so cool. The other thing I actually really liked about Terrifier 3 was Sienna's part, because it plays a lot on her trauma, and obviously we've seen that with Laurie Strode in the David Gordon Green Halloween series, and also Scream like relies on it quite heavily as well. And trauma response seems to be a part of modern horror, and I just think the way Sienna portrayed their trauma, now I'm not saying that's how everyone should act, because obviously everyone reacts different to trauma, but it looked quite realistic. It's what I'd expect, or what I visioned somebody who'd been through such a traumatic experience to be dealing with it like. Another thing, other than Jonathan, because I don't think his performance is strong again, I just don't think he's a great actor, to be honest. The acting performances are fucking quality. Like, that's a massive step up as well for Terrifier 3. It genuinely is. And I think that's pretty noticeable, because Terrifier 1, obviously the budget wasn't there. It was really low budget, so you don't expect that. I think the performances were better, but still weren't great in number 2. Whereas I think everyone across the board, other than Jonathan, I think everyone was pretty spot on, to be honest. And even Chris Jericho's little cameo was fucking amazing. Jericho, I was gutted with the way that went. Well, I've kind of just spoiled that. I was gutted with how quickly Jericho died, because I was really enjoying the time he had on screen. It was a fun scene, man, the Chris Jericho scene. It really was. But yeah, now we'll talk about my downside to Terrifier 3. And honestly, it's just the writing. It's Damien Leone's story, and it's like he's just tying himself in knots trying to get lore into the Terrifier thing, and it's like, Art the Clown's the fucking star of the show, man. He genuinely is. No one's coming out. I haven't heard a single person come out to Terrifier and applaud the writing and story. Genuinely, it's just how good David Howard Thornton is. That's what the attraction is. It's Art the Clown. It's only Art the Clown. If Art the Clown wasn't played by him or didn't land as much, I don't think we'd be talking about Terrifier the way we as horror fans talk about Terrifier. So yeah, I just think when you remove the gore and the kills, which fucking really showed in number 2, I think, because I think number 2 is an absolute mess. But I think number 3, it's still edited shocking. Like, some parts are just, it seems like they've just took scenes out the film, like, don't add up. And it just seems to be like Art going, it's an Art kill, then it goes back to Sienna. And just the way they end up meeting at the end, it seems like there's a chunk of that film missing, because it just comes out of nowhere, and then it's 2 hours, 5 minutes long. And I don't know how he's managed to make it appear that there's scenes missing out the film. I genuinely think Art the Clown has eclipsed Damien Leone's writing ability. And that sounds really harsh, but when you actually take away the gore and that, I do just think it kind of falls flat, and I don't really know what the lore is. They didn't expand on it. It's like they are 3 separate films. Like, Terrifier 1 is just a slasher. There's not really any supernatural element whatsoever. It's just a fucked up clown, really. And then Terrifier 2, you get the pale girl and all the rest of it, and then that ending as well, it's just fucking mental. The ending of Terrifier 2 makes no sense. And then you go to Terrifier 3, and again, there's not much expanding on the lore. I still don't know if Art the Clown is a demon, or if he summons these demons to get power. Like, I don't know the background of Art the Clown. And we're 3 films in, and he's trying desperately to add lore to Art the Clown, which isn't a bad idea. If you're trying to get away from the slasher thing, then obviously the supernatural element and like building character lore is a good shout to do it. It really is. But I just don't know what he wants to do with the character. I don't think he knows what he wants to do with the character. I think he's just got a super successful character, probably before he's ready to write this caliber of film. Some of the scenes, like the bar scene with the Santa, it's one of my favourite things I've watched, man. It's fucking genius. And the way he keeps calling him Clowny, oh, it's so funny, man. It's such a great scene, and it also shows the playful side to Art the Clown, which I really love. Yeah, like I love how much fun Art the Clown is having. So yeah, it shows the playful side to him, and then the switch, like how quick he turns, and also his new weapon of like the liquid nitrogen. I think it is. It's so good, and the fact you've seen him building it and trying it out is fucking genius as well. That is great, absolutely great. And then obviously the shower scene, which I don't think I've seen a more brutal kill on screen. I genuinely don't, man. Like how much he's hacking with that chainsaw, and the way she's putting her arms up to defend, and she's just getting little slices. It's fucking so gnarly. And then he goes out to the boyfriend and just cuts him up in half, similar to the Hanging Girl on Terrifier 1, but he's on the floor, goes up his dick, through his stomach, and then flips him over and carries on until he gets completely through. And then he's so exhausted that he just lies down and makes a blood angel. And it's such a fucking amazing scene. It genuinely is so much fun, man. And that little blood angel just alleviates how gnarly that was. And it was just like the whole cinema laughed, and it just takes the tension out of the thing. And it's like, oh no, it's still fun. It's still over the top. Whereas, yeah, man, I didn't catch that on Friday. But yeah, Terrifier 3, is it a perfect film? Absolutely not. Does it suffer from Damien Leone's writing ability? I do believe it does, yeah. I really do. But Art the Clown's still fun as fuck, man. And Terrifier 4 has already been confirmed, I'm pretty sure. I'll be there in the cinema, man, because it's so much fun watching Art the Clown. And I'm going to be gutted that it's not a Christmas film, because the added Christmas feel into this film was great. I thought he nailed it, man. So yeah, I would recommend going to see Terrifier. But yeah, I just had a really weird first viewing with it. And yeah, I was a bit nervous that I got a bit soft, because I did think he crossed the line and it was too heavy for me, and that was quite a sad feeling, man. But yeah, happily, it's not the case. I was just in a fucking very aware of the room I was in, and I was like, this is awkwardly heavy, this. But yeah, anyway, I'll leave it there. Nice one for checking the videos. If you did enjoy it, like and subscribe to the channel, share it around, that'd be massively appreciated. And I don't need to tell you to go and see Terrifier 3. You're all absolutely going to go and see Terrifier 3, and you should see it on the big screen if you can, because it's fucking a lot of fun and it looks outstanding. But yeah, nice one. In a bit.